These are the medals that represent a trifecta for running the 3 lengths of the Spartan races in a calendar year. The red one represents the Spartan Sprint, which is a race that lasts anywhere from 3 to 5 miles and has about 12 to 15 obstacles in it. The blue one is for the Spartan Super, and that is 7 to 8 miles and has anywhere from 15 to 20 obstacles in it. And then the green one represents the Spartan Beast, which truly was a beast this year. And it represents a race that runs anywhere from 12 to 15 miles and has 25 to 35 obstacles in it. Now, all of these obstacles are beside the obstacle of the natural terrain we run in. The Beast was the first one this year, and it was in Columbus, Ohio, and is at a place called the Wilds, and it was one of the most difficult races that I have ever run outside of my attempt to do a Beast in Killington, Vermont, which the altitude got me, and I was only able to do 7 miles there. So it's hard to train at 400 feet sea level for a race that takes place between 2,400 and 4,200 feet. And that's why I only got 7 miles, but I got 7 miles. I was proud of that. Chicago was at a new venue, and it was mainly flat, but they made up for the flatness with mudslogs, and I call them mudslogs because it was a half a mile to 3/4 mile of knee-deep mud, and that represents the hills that we didn't walk. And it's amazing the amount of energy it takes to get through knee-deep mud with your shoes intact and without going into incredible cramps. And then the Beast this year, the Indiana Beast, took place at a new venue called Perfect Peaks, which is in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And Perfect Peaks represents the name of a ski lodge. And we went up the hills there 4 times, and it was 4.7 miles, but it was some of the most difficult stuff, but very enjoyable, as you can tell. I'm very proud of my medals. I'm very proud of the effort that went into it, the training. It was definitely a team effort. My son and I ran the Beast and the Super together, and then my husband, my future daughter-in-law, my son and I ran the Indiana Sprint. And so this represents my trifecta. The medals in the back all come together to form the trifecta medal itself, and it's a magnetic medal, and it will be bigger. And so I'm very proud.
How long have you been training?
I started 4 years ago, and so this is my third trifecta year. So some people get as many as 4 trifectas in a year, but that's traveling the United States, and I just stay within my region. So.
How did you find out about this trifecta?
It's something that, I tell you what, whenever you're finished with your race, you hear this a lot because people are walking around with their medal. But when you hear this, it gains your attention. It's like a coin being dropped. Everybody hears the coin. Everybody hears this, and this draws incredible respect. And you want that. You want that kind of respect. I wanted that kind of respect, and that meant training, and that meant being in the kind of shape it takes to be able to get through these races. And so I started learning about what a trifecta was, and could I do it, and what would it take? And so I started learning about that and started doing it. So.
Well, what was your first race then?
My first race was the Indiana Sprint, and I seen that. I tell you what, my introduction came to this from my son, Michael. He did the Chicago Super 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and it was in the end of October. It was freezing, but he loved it, and I loved seeing him do it. And my husband and I went there to support him. So the atmosphere, the loud music, the camaraderie, I don't care what nationality you are, I don't care if you can speak English or not, there is a hand to help you up a hill, to help you over an obstacle. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, to watch the disabled military men and women go through these obstacle course races together, helping each other over the obstacles. Seeing people who are, 400 and 500 pounds doing their best to get through an obstacle, to get through a race. Seeing people who are blind and who are deaf participate in these things. We don't call them disabled, we call them adaptive, because they have to adapt to a race, just as we have to adapt to different situations in life. And so it makes them stronger, but it makes me stronger, and it makes me want to help in whatever way I can, to extend that hand, because it was extended to me first. So that kind of camaraderie and that kind of passion makes me want to be a part of that, makes me want to be better than myself and to reach out and help other people. So I can do that to help people to want to get off of their couches. And that's the thing about Spartan Race. It's all about ripping people off the couch and getting outside. And what better way? I mean, we all love to play in the mud when we were kids. I'm 52 and I love to play in the mud still.
Cool. You mentioned your husband. What's his name?
Scott.
Scott.
Mm-hmm.